Allô la gang, j'étais pour dire bon matin, il est quand même rendu midi. On va passer au next step. Donc, c'est Nate ce matin qui vient parler avec vous autres, avec nous autres, en fait, des différentes couleurs des personnalités. Donc, ça va vous aider, vous, à vous connaître un peu plus, à connaître aussi vos clients, votre équipe, parce que avec différentes couleurs vient différentes caractéristiques, d'où l'importance de la communication aussi, d'apprendre à connaître les gens et d'aller creuser un petit peu plus dans leur personnalité. Vous allez découvrir les caractéristiques de ces personnes-là, puis vous allez aussi savoir comment communiquer avec ces personnes-là. Donc, Nate, are you ready? Hey,
Oh
bilingue.
yeah, I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
Yes?
Is anybody drinking ketones? I just have a unleashed black. Oh, perfect. Awesome. Okay. So, how are you guys? Good? Thumbs up? Okay. Here we go. We're going to talk about personality types today. So, I want to start off by saying that the reason why we do these things, the reason why we take a look at personality types in the context of what we're doing is to expand our business. Okay. So all this information, and I think Brian touched on it last time we were on with Brian James there. He talked about how all this knowledge is absolutely useless unless you put it to work. So I want you to think about it because we can get a little bit abstract in our thinking when we're talking about personality types, and we can kind of just get stuck in the weeds. And I want you to think about ways that you can apply this knowledge to help you build your business and improve your life. Okay, because this is dealing with people. So personality types is basically there's so many different models out there of personality types, and I've done a few of them, and they're really good for getting a little bit of self-awareness. Okay, they're not exactly perfect. So you may say, oh, I'm a little bit of this and I'm a little bit of that. Okay. The one we're going to look at today is the one that we always talk about at Prove It. By the way, my name's Nate. I'm an independent promoter with the company Prove It. We got to get in the habit of saying that. But it's a color driven system. So have you guys heard of the color personality stuff before? Anybody? Okay. Color personalities. So it's broken down into 4 different colors and 4 different categories. And so you're going to resonate with one of them. I recommend that you do the test if you haven't done it, or if you don't know who you are. You may know by the end of this call, you know, what color personality that you are. And I want you to, because what happens when you figure out and this is what the world loves to do nowadays. They find their camp, they find their identity in this one little thing, and they slightly look down upon everybody else. Okay, so just because you are a certain color does not mean that color is the best. Okay, what it means is you're that color and someone else is that color, is a different color. They have different strengths and weaknesses. You have different strengths and weaknesses. And what happens is when we go do this, sometimes we think in the context of us. And so how to apply this is number one, for you and your own self-awareness, so you can recognize your own strengths and weaknesses. Number 2 is so that you can relate to, motivate, and inspire people that are different colors than you. Because if you want to ever build a team with this, you need to be able to work with all different color personality types. If you don't, you're going to have a very small and boring team, because they're all going to be like you. And the goal is to have a place where everybody feels included, everybody feels heard, everybody feels welcome. And you as a leader or a potential leader, okay, you want to know these personality types because you want to know how to relate to these different people, or you want to know how to understand them better. Same goes with customers. So say you're first starting out and you're like, man, I'm getting no's all the time. I'm getting resistance all the time when I'm trying to sell the reboot. I'm getting people that try a 10-day experience and they They just keep not wanting to order. This can help you see and hear people from different perspectives, okay? And then maybe figure out how to present ketones, present this conversation in a way that can be received by a different personality type, okay? This is also powerful in your marriage. Anyone read that book, The Love Languages, before? 5 Love Languages, okay? And you know, here's the big idea with the 5 love languages, and it gets to be a problem in relationships. In this book, 5 Love Languages, if you're married or thinking about getting married or you're in a relationship, I recommend that you check this book out, because the big idea with it is that we all receive and express love in different ways, right? And usually the way that you like to receive love is the way that you express love. And that's a problem, because your partner may not be their love language. So you're speaking your love language to a partner who receives a different love language. And so when you learn the other person's love language, you can communicate better, and you can actually give and receive and have a better relationship. Similar idea with what we're talking about with the color things. Okay, you can learn how to understand and how to motivate, inspire people of different color personality types and your own personality types. So I want to go over them, because the ones that we talk about, they run on a spectrum from extrovert to introvert. Okay, so I'm going to start with the extroverted colors first. Okay, the extroverted colors, number 1 is red personality type. Okay, here are some attributes of a red personality type. They're determined, demanding, competitive, strong-willed, and they're driven people. Okay, they're your go-getters. They're the people that you often see out front, right? They're dressed really nice, dressed really sharp. They like to look good. They're loud. They like to be leaders. They're attracted to go-getters. They're attracted to highly driven, successful, alpha, ways of life. You'll know these people because they stand out, right? They stand out. The other color is blue. Okay, the other extroverted color is blue. Okay, and blues are very expressive. Okay, they create excitement. Okay, they like to share ideas, dreams. They don't speak in terms of like goals. Red personalities, they speak in terms of, I want to go from X to Y in X amount of time. I don't care what gets in my way. I'm going for that goal. Okay. Blues think along the lines, they think more abstract, more creative, more it's about pursuing dreams, inspiration. It's about enthusiasm. They motivate, persuade people. These people are very persuasive and charismatic. They're the life of the party, right? They're the people that you want to have over to the house on a Saturday night, because they're going to be the ones that are dancing around, right? They're the ones that are going to be dancing on the countertops. These are the blue personalities, okay? And so as I'm going through these, I want you to think of like which one you may be, and some people that you may know, even on this call, maybe in your household, that you can see, man, that person's definitely a blue personality. So I want you to start developing a language for this so that you can get to know people, okay? Green personalities. So now we're going to shift to the introverted colors. Green personalities, very, very analytic, very, very focused on facts and logic, okay? They only act when the payoff is clear. So they only act when everything is lined up the way they need it to be lined up. They're careful not to commit too quickly. They're very cautious in how they proceed with things, okay? They like reason. They want to reason their way through life. They want to think their way through life. They want to have things lined up before they take action, before they're not adverse to risk. They don't like taking risks, okay? That's the green personality. So they're very, very logical. These are the people that would, basically they're a walking National Geographic magazine, right? They have so much information and technical knowledge about certain things, but they're not that excited about it. It seems like they talk in a monotone voice, and they know everything, and Anyway, you kind of know these people, right? You kind of know what I'm talking about. So the next one is yellow, okay? Yellow personalities, they're very empathetic, okay? They cooperate to gain agreement, okay? They're very supportive. They build trust and communicate, okay? They're very good listeners. They're very good at understanding people and feelings, right? Where goals and drive and action drives the red personality, feelings and heart and empathy drive the yellow personality, okay? And so those are the four colors, just in a nutshell. And I just want to give you an example of how. So if we're going to talk about this, I want to give you a real-time example. So if I was a red personality and we're doing this exercise on personalities, here's what I would think. Oh, great, I can figure this out so I can go off this call and crush it. I have a goal to meet at the end of this month, and this personality awareness that I just gained is going to help me achieve XYZ. Okay, that's how a red personality would think about this. Okay, a blue personality would be like, man, this is going to help me meet so many people. I'm going to make so many connections. I'm going to have so much fun with this because now I can talk to so many people. I can share what's going on inside, and I can help them, see the bigger picture, see what's in my spirit so that I can, impact the world. So that's what a blue personality would say about this exercise. A green personality would be more along the lines of, oh, great, this is going to help me to analyze the world around me. This is a great bunch of data that now I can store, and maybe I'll create a spreadsheet with this personality types. And when I meet somebody new, I'm going to consult the spreadsheet, and maybe I'll make a little checklist of all the different personality types, and I'm going to start assessing and evaluating all the people that are around me. That's what a green personality would say. A yellow personality, okay? Yellow personality would say something along the lines of, this is great because now I'll be able to understand the people around me more. Now I'll be able to listen, and I'll be able to hear people's hearts. I'll be able to hear people's hearts in a new way because now I have a greater understanding for who they really are. And so now I can help them to grow into more of who they're supposed to be. So do you guys hear the distinct different voices and distinct different ways of looking at the world just by taking a look at this exercise? Okay? And like I said, these are generalizations. You may see I'm a bit of green, I'm a bit of red. There's usually one that's dominant in your life, okay? There's usually one that's dominant in your life, and there's a quiz online that you can do to figure it out if you're not sure. But you also have to be aware of the negatives, okay? And this is for your own self. You got to be aware of the negatives when it comes to the personality types too, because like I said, there's a default mode, especially in our society today, that says if you take a certain position or if you're in a certain category, that you're a little bit better than everybody that's not in that same category, okay? Second, ketone. So I want you to be aware of the limitations or the possible negative things that go along with the personality types as well. So red personalities are very, very driven. They're very, very high achievers, and they're very, very good. But sometimes they can make bad leaders because what they do is they're they're horrible listeners. They think that the world should conform to them, right? They think that everybody's level of desire should be exactly where theirs is at all times, or else they're, not worth their time, right? I'm just talking about the negative, kind of the dark side of the personalities, right? They can bulldoze over people, right? They can not listen so much that they can actually make people, like, hurt people's feelings around them, and be completely unaware of it. And they can also think they're better than other people. because of how driven they are and how successful they are, because usually these people are very successful in certain ways, right? So that's the negative aspect of the red. The negative aspect of the blue is sometimes they love the party so much that they don't get anything done. They lack focus. They can't settle their thoughts down to achieve something concrete. They float around. They bounce around from this to that. They're easily distracted. You know, you ever see that cartoon where it's like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel? That's what a blue personality can be like, right? And you have to be aware of these. This is not to condemn you if you're like in a position like that or you notice it. It's just for you to raise your awareness level and be like, you know, maybe I need to put some checks and balances around me so that that doesn't happen. What can I do in my life? What kind of system can I create? What kind of accountability can I create to make myself more effective by taking care of my own limitations? So blues, they can be easily distracted, hard to focus. Greens can overanalyze things, okay? And not get anything done. They can overthink. They can spend, they're the type of people that want to see the comp plan before they become a promoter. And then they take 3 years looking at the comp plan, and then they come back to you and ask you a question about, you know, what does it mean if you hit a rank 6 and someone buys on your 8th line when you have 6 customers in your back office, right? And you're like, I don't know, dude. Sometimes you just got to start, right? Sometimes you just got to start. So greens can overthink things. They can actually not take healthy risks. They cannot take calculated risks. They can become paralyzed. They can have paralysis by analysis, right? Where they don't do anything, right? They're thinking so much about trying to find the right way to do something that they don't do anything, which is the wrong thing. Okay? By the way, just on a side note, that's a little gold nugget, is doing nothing is doing something. It's just doing the wrong thing. Okay? Doing nothing is doing something. You're just doing the wrong thing. Anything is better than doing nothing. Okay? Yellows. So yellows can become pushovers. They can let other people bulldoze over them. They can put their own feelings, wants, needs, and desires aside. And they can live with this kind of, even though they're super compassionate, they can be kind of passive aggressive because they have this internal frustration because their own needs aren't getting met. Because they don't communicate their own needs. They don't think their own needs are important. Okay? And so I think when we talk about these things, one awareness that I get when I talk about the limitations of the colors, I really see the value in having a team around you. I'm talking about team as in team prove it. I'm talking about team as in this team. I'm talking about team as in the people that you surround yourself with. Because what I see here, what I see when I take a look at these colors is that what one color lacks, another makes up for. So if you really want to impact the world, you have to realize that all these colors got to work together, right? And you can see how certain colors, man, you got to really be careful. So a red working with the yellow, you got to be really careful there, right? If you're a red personality, you could squish that person, right? You could squish that person, and the red would be frustrated because it's just like, tell me what you want, you know? And he's like, oh, I don't want anything, you know, like, just tell me what you need, you know? And they're like, no, I just, you know, I just want to listen to you, you know, and, you know, take a look at a blue personality and a green personality. So you have the super analytical person that needs to reason everything and have all the checks and balances. And then you have the person that's fly by night, that shows up, that likes to do spontaneity things, right? Likes to be spontaneous. And you have this person that loves to plan. How many people are married to someone that's like slightly opposite to you? Few of you guys, eh? It's weird, hey? Because a little bit opposites attract. But there's also, you also see where some of the conflict comes from sometimes, because it's like so much of it is communication. And that's the last thing I want to touch on in this one is communication. It all comes actually, this whole lesson here, if you want to maximize this lesson and actually take it to the bank and actually do something with it, it comes down to communication. Okay? How do you communicate with other people? How do you communicate to a green personality? How do you communicate to a red personality? In a way that they can hear it. Okay? The reason why we do a translation at the end of this call is because I'm speaking English and most of you guys speak French as your first language. Right? So what if you could translate? What if you're a red personality and you could translate into yellow language? What if you were a blue personality and you could translate into green language? Think about how powerful you would be if you could speak all the languages. And so we can get to the same outcome by using different language. As a matter of fact, you're more effective if you can learn how to use different language with different people. Okay? And so you really have to guard yourself against the negative parts, though. You have to really, so if you're red, you have to realize that not everyone's a red. If you're yellow, you got to realize that you got to sometimes, like, go for what you want in life. If you're blue, sometimes you got to realize that, you got to focus on a few things. Maybe make a list of things that you want to accomplish before you start going wild, right? Reds, you have to be ready to let somebody interrupt you. You know what I mean? If you're going so hard towards your goal, you might want to stop and say hi to somebody, because this business is about people, right? Not just about you getting from point A to point B. If you're a green, you got to stop overthinking it. You got to stop overthinking it and realize that, sometimes you do got to think, you do got to reason, but eventually you got to take action. It's just like this call right now. Like, we could sit here and think about it. I could give you guys homework on, be like, hey, like, let's go analyze this. Let's read the book on it. Let's do 50 other personality type tests. But at the end of the day, if we don't do anything with it, it's worthless. So have a definite time where you're going to take action with what you got. It's not a bad thing, right? None of these things are bad things. It's just about being aware of where you can go wrong, where you can go sideways, and being aware of that in other people as well. And like I said, this is just one way, okay, of looking at the different types of personalities. And it gives you a little bit of a framework. After a while, you can get really good at just being with somebody in a room and feeling what kind of person they are, right? And then kind of meeting them there. But this is a great place to start. Really good guys like Mitch Newman and stuff like that, they can be with you in a room and just figure you out a little bit, right? That's how you get when you're really, really good at that. And you only get good at it by wanting to be good at it, okay? Because what happens if we don't actually think about this and we don't actually be intentional about it is we just assume that everybody else is like us, or they should be, right? It's like they're everyone's like us, or they should be like us. Because if they're not, then there's something wrong. We may not say that, but we think it somewhere deep down in the subconscious. So for your homework on this one, I want you to find out what your color is. Okay? I want you to do the quiz, just Google color personality types, do the quiz, and figure out what color it is. And then I want you to identify somebody else, preferably on your team or a customer, and what their personality is, without asking them to do the quiz. Okay, so that's your action step. All right, Melissa.
Merci, Nate. Moi, c'est quelque chose que je connaissais un peu déjà, mais c'est super important de tout le temps se le réapproprier, en fait, parce que de savoir à vous connaître, ça va faire partie de la base. Votre compagnie part de vous. Donc, c'est vraiment important de se connaître. Puis le call to action, je vais le dire tout de suite, c'est de connaître votre couleur. Fait qu'allez chercher un test sur Google ou peu importe. Allez trouver vos caractéristiques, votre couleur pour apprendre à vous connaître énormément. Puis après ça, faites-le faire à vos clients, à votre équipe, pour qu'eux aussi apprennent à se connaître énormément. De là va partir aussi la communication. Vous allez être capable de communiquer avec certaines personnes dans certaines discussions ou situations en sachant leur couleur. Fait que je vous fais un petit recap un peu de quelle sorte de couleur, tout ça, puis après ça, on va pouvoir répondre aux questions. Puis là, s'il manque des bouts, Ed, tu pourras peut-être renchérir sur ce que je vais dire. Donc, première chose, ben oui, c'est reconnaître les couleurs de ceux qui vous entourent, mais aussi les vôtres. Et puis, une chose qui est super importante, puis que moi, ça va être quelque chose que je vais mettre en place éventuellement, ben plus, en tout cas, c'est d'inspirer les autres couleurs à coller à vous. D'essayer de parler dans vos posts ou dans vos lives, aux différentes couleurs. Fait que, tu sais, oui, le mot famille, parce que moi, je suis jaune, là, on s'entend que j'aime que tout le monde soit correct, que tout le monde soit impliqué, que tout le monde... Moi, une petite mère Teresa, là, fait que je veux que tout le monde soit correct. Donc, tu sais, le mot famille, je l'utilise énormément. De peut-être aller chercher les rouges, tu sais, c'est peut-être difficile en disant ces mots-là, fait que d'aller vraiment changer votre langage pour aller chercher chaque personnalité. Fait que l'importance des mots, on le répète depuis le début du Rhino Run, c'est super important dans plein de situations. Fait que les rouges, c'est juste pour vous donner une idée. Il y a plein de personnes qui se sont identifiées dans les commentaires, mais rouge, Émilie en fait partie. Beaucoup. DAF aussi. Si vous regardez Jessie Lee, c'est rouge bord en bord. Fait que c'est vraiment les audacieuses et déterminées, les bruyants, ceux qui ont du succès, les alphas, les leaders. Puis je vais dire, oui, le bon côté, mais je vais dire comme les choses à travailler aussi pour les rouges. Puis, les rouges peuvent tomber facilement dans le mauvais leader, dans tout ça. Fait que, juste, puis c'est d'apprendre à parler à tout le monde, exactement. Les bleus, ben, Nick en fait partie. C'est des gens de cœur, des gens enthousiastes, créatifs, de party social. Puis, Nate disait que les bleus, c'est d'apprendre à faire des listes parce qu'ils sont souvent distraits. Ils veulent toucher à tout, mais finalisent pas nécessairement à tout. Fait que c'est vraiment de faire des listes et d'arriver au bout des listes. C'est ça qui est difficile. Les verts, c'est dans la tête. Ed en est un beaucoup. Quand on a des questions plus spécifiques, on va tout le temps voir Ed. Fait que, d'identifier aussi les membres de l'équipe en fonction de leur couleur, ça va être facile d'aller chercher vos réponses aussi à travers tout ça parce que oui, on a un peu de toutes ces couleurs-là en nous, mais il y a des caractéristiques qui ressortent plus. Donc, le focus, la logique, le pourquoi du pourquoi, la raison derrière tout ça. Les verts, des fois, c'est un peu plus long à mettre en action parce qu'il faut qu'ils comprennent chaque étape. Fait que, c'est souvent ceux qui demandent le plan de compensation en premier là, quand vous leur parlez. Là. Fait que, ils veulent comprendre tout dès le début, puis c'est souvent ceux qui ils ont un peu plus de difficulté à se mettre en action parce qu'ils ne comprennent pas l'action en tant que telle. C'est ça. Le jaune, ben, c'est totalement moi, bord en bord. Là. On a toute une couleur prédominante. J'en ai d'autres, mais le jaune, c'est sûr. Fait que l'empathie, que tout le monde soit correct, l'écoute active, la famille, inclure tout le monde. Puis des fois, ben, ça peut tomber dans le trop de compassion. Prendre les problèmes sur tes épaules de tout le monde. Puis à un moment donné, ben, ça finit par t'écraser toi-même. Donc, tu sais, en fait, vous allez apprendre vos couleurs prédominantes. Puis dans chaque situation, il y a des couleurs qui vont sortir plus. Avec ma famille, je suis beaucoup plus rouge parce que c'est moi qui lead dans la maison. Mais dans l'équipe, dans mon travail, je suis beaucoup plus jaune. Fait que c'est d'apprendre dans les situations aussi. Puis votre dream team, en fait, c'est d'avoir tout le monde pour travailler sur les forces de tout le monde puis que chaque personne apporte leur petite couleur à travers tout ça. Puis ce qui est difficile, c'est d'aller chercher toutes ces personnes-là parce que oui, on attire les mêmes couleurs que nous, on attire les gens qui se collent à notre histoire, à nos forces, tout ça. Fait que c'est vraiment d'élargir notre vocabulaire et d'aller chercher un peu tout le monde. Fait que je pense que j'ai fait un peu le tour, Ed, mais tu peux peut-être voir si j'ai pas manqué un petit bout, là.
Oui, juste une chose, c'est que on n'est pas une couleur exactement. On a une couleur prédominante, mais on a tout l'éventail des couleurs. C'est juste qu'il y en a une qui ressort plus. T'sais, par exemple, Mick, c'est un bleu. Mais il y a du jaune en arrière de ce bleu-là. Puis il y a du rouge aussi. Puis on le sait, on apprend à le connaître, puis on le voit. Le vert, pas tellement. T'sais, il est capable de regarder des choses, de comprendre des choses, puis de prendre le temps de les analyser, mais ce n'est pas quelque chose qu'il fait automatiquement. C'est peut-être sa moins forte des 4 couleurs. Tandis que moi, c'est de loin ma plus forte. De loin. Puis, c'est de oui, avoir ça dans notre langage, quand on parle aux gens, mais aussi d'apprendre à reconnaître quand on a une conversation avec quelqu'un. Puis ça, c'est quelque chose que Nate disait, les personnes qui sont à un certain niveau dans la compagnie, si on regarde par exemple un Mitch Newman, vous avez une conversation avec lui, il saisit rapidement votre personnalité. Puis, vous ajustez votre langage avec cette personne-là directement, quand vous êtes un à un. Puis, le call to action, c'est oui, trouver notre personnalité, mais trouver la personnalité d'un client ou une personne de l'équipe sans lui demander de faire l'exercice de commencer à travailler ce muscle-là de reconnaître la couleur de l'autre. That's it.
Merci, Ed. Donc, je pense qu'on peut fermer l'enregistrement. Je pense que je peux le faire de mon côté. Je vais le faire. Après ça, on va prendre les 3 questions. Oh, yes.